welcome to a Facebook Live. Oh, I meant to put the book up, but I didn't do that. Oh well. We'll just have to wave it around.
It'll just be here for a moment. I'll just stand here dramatically for a moment. I'll hold it with my hands. It will be my deep duty that I will take responsibility for.
Hi everybody, welcome to my live. I'm Gail Carriger. This is the madness and the chaos of guests. I know, but let me introduce unto you two of my favorite human beings on the planet, Madame Askew and the Grand Arbiter.
How do you do? Hello everyone.
These two darling friends of mine come to me via the steampunk world and the steampunk universe. They are not just steampunkers though.
No.
Because however they are here, I'm a little far away from the camera. But let the madness begin indeed. But I would love you to do what I always ask, is for everybody to comment telling me, if you wish, where in the world you are tuning in from.
We've got some folks from London and South Australia.
Yes.
Oh my god, so exciting, so exciting.
This is going to go down now, though, because my arm is getting very tired.
Hello, Lady June Swell. I see you.
Hello, June.
Oh my goodness, look at this.
Well, some of our fans
lovely.
are your fans.
No,
It's fantastic.
it's very
fantastic.
It is fantastic. Oops.
Oh,
I accidentally hit the thing. It's so fantastic, but there we go.
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Ooh.
Oh, this looks like such. Yes, it's going to be a bit noisy and chaotic, and I promise I will giggle a lot because these two make me laugh. I know many.
Have you ever been?
I know many.
Our favourite.
See, it's already started. Yes, many of you appreciate the fact that my books make you laugh. These are the Gail books that make me laugh, so to speak.
Oh, I've always wanted to be a book, actually.
Well, you've got the shelf for it.
I do, and I love having my pages ruffled.
Yes, we are, as you can tell, all having tea. We are indeed all drinking the blue space tea. So
The best tea.
there it is. That's what we're drinking.
We are gazing into the abyss. It's
Oh, San
wonderful.
Francisco, you're local.
Hello.
I'm gonna strip already because
Oh.
more to
so
get
warm.
catch.
So warm.
Well, you are sandwiched between two fairly effervescent folks.
It's true. I'm getting bubbled from all directions. It's
We
very
love
exciting.
to sort of.
It's like a champagne bath in here, everybody.
You know,
Only
these
warmer.
are the best descriptions. We've been champagne and books so far. So
Really,
lovely.
all that you need to say next is that we're chocolate, and it'll all her favorite things.
All good things at once. You are chocolate. You are the darkest and most delightful of chocolate. Possibly with a little caramel, a little salt on there. Just
The little, the little chocolate that could. I went to take a moment. I love the chapeau, and I got too excited.
and ruffled her hat.
I was like, ooh, too much joy.
Connecticut.
Oh, we already have a question. Oh my goodness, the questions are coming already.
All right.
So this is going to be a normal live, although we'll probably not be able to handle too many questions. Knowing us, we'll get excited.
distracted.
So Annabelle asks, which characters did they, and I assume you mean we, inspire?
I never admit to taking inspiration from real life ever, under any circumstances. So my answer to that is, once the end of this live has happened, you're going to have to guess.
I will say that I know where I would like to spend my time in the universe, and we would definitely be having tea on the reg with Alexia and Lord Eccleston.
Of course. Although that would be true chaos. Like, no one would get a word in edgewise at all. It would be very loud and very crazy.
It would be my eternal contest to stun Akaldama so much that he is actually silent.
Oh gosh, is that possible?
I don't think so.
I mean, I said it was a contest. It's a feat of strength, not a feat of possibility.
I think there would be compliment dueling involved as well.
Absolutely.
I think the two of you would go at it and try to out-compliment each other.
Yes.
You know, the thing about that compliment duel is that everyone wins because we get to witness it and be marvellous. Oh my god, we've got another question here. Individually,
Showing off your outfit?
Yeah, I'm just falling. It's just a little bit. I've been sequestered to the rough at the back of the office, and so I'm slightly sliding forward.
Also, the Grand Arbiter would like you all to know that he is taller.
I'm taller than all of them. I'm the tallest one here.
But he has the lowest seat.
Yes.
I get to pretend to be tall. afternoon, which is
This
delightful.
is your great. This is you serving justice
I
to
am.
me.
I am.
You're like justice for tall women.
The scales
True.
are
I'm wildly envious of the tall. I know occasionally people accuse me of being tall, but it's a real predilection for stilettos that does it.
You're tall as far as I'm concerned, always.
Yeah.
No.
Well, yes.
Well,
yes.
I am the shortest in the room. So we have a few questions. So TK asks individually, what are your favourite steampunk events to attend?
Oh, this is good.
Oh, this is
a
actually
good
really
question.
great. It's
Yeah.
actually really great.
Perfect question.
Good question.
So we are blessed and honored to be regular attendants to a number of steampunk conventions. Of course, we would never choose among our children.
Yes, that's
Never.
like it is asking them
Never.
to pick their favorite con is like asking me to pick my favorite book.
They're all very special and different. We do have about 2 to 3 that we did this year that were very good. We of course love Gaslight Expo, which is on hiatus at this time, but should come back in the near future.
That
hopefully,
is a favorite of mine. I've
Yes.
been there as well. It's
Lovely.
down in San Diego.
we've also done Atlanta Steampunk Expo, which you haven't done
I
yet.
haven't done, but I have been invited. Everybody, it just keeps conflicting with other things
Yes.
for me. But
And that one got
Rebranded
rebranded
to Con Possible.
Con Possible. High marks for the organisers on
Yeah.
that, by the way. They are lovely humans.
And we've done a number of conventions throughout the area, but of course, we have a home convention that
Yes.
where we got our start, where our burgeoning talent emerged, and that would be Wild Wild West Con in Tucson, Arizona, both of which we are. It's where Manus and the Great Arbiter first met. Is that region?
Yes, it's true.
Yes.
It's true.
it's home for many reasons.
Right, we time travelled to a karaoke fete,
Yes.
and we were the 2 time travellers there, and we latched onto each other
Yeah,
like lamprey.
we needed to ensure that the timeline was not disrupted.
Oh yes, a
Of
mutual. You were brought together by a mutual passion for consistency in
Yes.
the time frame.
Yes.
Space-time
Yes.
consistency.
So
And absurdity. Yes.
But what's really exciting
Yes.
is that Wild Wild West Con is happening again this year.
2024. It's happening
2024.
next year. It's in February.
End of
At the very
February.
end of February.
Beginning of March.
It is happening again, is what I meant.
Mm.
And you're going to be there with
Oh,
This is
very exciting.
This is going to be your second Wild Wild
This
West
is
Con.
my second time at Wild Wild West Con, and yes, and we will all be together. So you will get to see this kind of madness happen in person if you are lucky enough to attend.
Well, and we'll be doing some fun panels together.
We'll be doing panels together. It's gonna be very.
You
I
will
will
be-
be there signing books. There's a rumor I might sign some tea. It could be very exciting.
Ooh, yeah, it's going
Very
to be
exciting.
delightful.
I imagine you'll be present at some tea duels, sitting
Oh,
in the
oh,
audience,
yes.
consuming tea at vast
Yes,
quantities.
yes. I don't participate in tea dueling, but I do love to observe. I love to. They give me tea, and
Yes.
so I sit, I drink tea, and I watch other people torment their tea
Yes.
through the fine art of tea dueling. But
With biscuits.
but I don't participate myself. I think I would be a very bad jeweler,
I mean,
and I might get splashed.
so,
Oh, no.
so
I
I
can't
just,
splash.
The
be
splash.
Gail, my
Terrible.
darling, my dove, my love, and,
All things.
all things.
Yes.
I just can't imagine you would want to touch a biscuit for that long.
There is that. There's the
I believe that biscuit has a role in your life,
yes,
and that is to be in your mouth.
Yes, to be eaten. Yes.
And that's the only reason you wouldn't
Also,
do
you
very
don't want to hold a biscuit of that butteriness with gloves for a long period.
No, you
No.
do not.
It's dangerous.
It will leave a mark
residue.
and no one likes that. The
No one
gloves
likes
are so
residue.
nice.
You have to take the
No.
gloves to get laundered.
Ugh. Ugh. Shocking.
Shocking. So we do have some more questions, not related to Wild West Con or biscuits
Or
at the
biscuits.
moment.
I did drop a link to Wild Wild West Con in the either below or above, depending on how you're watching this, and you can check it out if you're in the area or planning your travels next year. It is a delightful convention. I had a blast last time I was there, and I was very much looking forward to it this year. So.
And I know I'm biased. I am. It's true. But I feel like there is a magical power of having the three of us together at a convention with the sheer volume of tea that's going to be available.
It's true. It's true.
And all the other shenanigans that are happening this particular Wild West Con.
It's gonna be a blast.
No, you should come.
You should come
just
if
to
you can,
like
yes.
witness the chaos.
The madness.
So good. So, but here we go. Questions. So we have Suzanne would like you to please pronounce. I say Kagee, but Kagee.
I actually said it. That's one of the names I said two different ways in the pronunciation guide. So the Tinkered Starsong does have a pronunciation guide, which is essentially me saying everything out loud on video for you.
And it's lovely.
You can find that on YouTube, or you can Google Tinkered Starsong pronunciation guide, and it will probably pop right up. But I say it Kagee, but you could say it Kagee, and I haven't decided which one I like better, so I will be leaving that one up to the narrator to decide, and I do that sometimes, because I'm a writer, so all I care really is how it looks written down. So the audiobook part of it is I often leave up to the narrator to play a little bit, which is why some of you audio people have commented to me that names and things sound different depending on the narrator, and that's mostly my fault because I'm not precious about these sorts of things. But yes, in this particular instance, I knew the narrator would want everything pronounced, and I knew I would get these kinds of questions, so I did do a pronunciation guide. But Kagee is how I say it in my head, and Kagee is how it could be said as well, if you wanted to do a hard G. I'm not going to do it.
I didn't, when I read it, I just read the letters and didn't really, put them together.
You have to do pronunciation.
Just a shape.
Yes.
It's
just a shape in my mind. That's all the letters are.
Yeah,
So,
it's very funny.
We do love your books. We have read your books. I think collectively we've read all of your books.
I mean, collectively, in that I've read a very small number, and you have read literally the entire library, and are like, I watched Gail leave the room for 4 minutes, and I saw you scuffling around in here looking for notes and things to read about. Just desperately looking for more words.
I was looking for the hat, and she was prying into my note. Lovely.
I was hunting. No. The thing is, at about 2 a.m., we're talking about your latest book in the Tinkered Starsong, and the Grand Arbiters talking about Kagee. Kagee, and of course I knew who you were talking about, Kagee, whom I love. He is frankly one of my favorites of the characters.
Yes, I often get asked which are my favorites or who are my favorites or who, and Kagee fulfills a niche for me that is clearly something I reach for in my authorial toolkit a lot.
Grump.
Which is Grumpy. Yes,
Grump.
The prickly Grumpy.
Yes.
And one of my darling fans, described this as the burnt marshmallow character, which is very sharp and crispy and smoky and burnt on the outside, and then very mushy and sweet on the gooey center. But you have a lot of burn to get through.
It's actually one of the #1 more popular tropes out of Japanese anime. It's the
Tsundere.
Tsundere, you know.
Tsundere, you're
Yes.
right. Tsundere. Yeah.
It's but it's a fascinating trope. Just
Yes.
I don't like you, but secretly I like you very, very much, and I must push you away.
I must needle at you and be witty. Yes, I love those characters.
I wouldn't know anything about being like those characters whatsoever. I never respond to my hats in that way. And they were like, no, not you, but secretly you're my favourite. But we should never talk chapeau. But no, he's a fantastic character.
He's lovely, I do.
I did sort of expect him to say Baka at some point.
So, we have another question, and this one is pertinent to tea, and I love it. Karen asks, she says, I noticed that teacups are white, black, and black. Did you choose these to graduate across between all three on purpose? Karen.
There was
the trials and tribulations.
We went through, I swear, at least 15 minutes of trying to decide which teacup we would each have that went best. So we did coordinate to all wear reds or shades of reds. And then I realized I don't have a bunch of different shades of reds teacups. And so crisis immediately resulted with me having to like get out teacups and run them over to everybody's outfits to make sure they went. But it is sort of an accident that we went with
a gradient.
a gradient of despair.
So good. But we love a gradient of despair.
Gradient of despair.
We love despair. We're drinking the abyss, and we love despair.
So
and,
true.
you
It's
know,
so true.
I mean, it
Perfect.
is. We are planning a despair-inspired tea lineup for Wild West
It's
Con,
true.
so we're very
It's true.
excited for that.
Yes, we are. It's gonna
Okay.
be, hopefully it will happen.
Oh,
One of the great joys of tea dueling, at least when we're doing it, is that we use very good tea.
yeah, no, we use
do
nice
not mess
stuff.
around.
And I was lobbying hard for them to have Deep Blue Abyss, which is this tea, my tea, as one of the offerings at Wild Wild West for dueling.
And
I
as
think
long-
everybody should try it.
As long as it's available, it will almost certainly happen.
Excellent.
There's no. It's really more of a tea punk teas. If you're listening, great. If not, spread the word. We will need like 4 containers of it, and if there are none, I will be sad.
We will be sad.
No, and the other thing is, right, not only do we serve tea, but we give tea away at these tea duels. So we bribe you to come have fun. It's really hard. We're just like, come have fun, here are bribes.
Yes.
So very
it's
painful.
a lot of work and trial and
Right.
tribulation.
And there are biscuits.
and there are biscuits, yes.
And there is a lot of suffering. But we give away little tins, tiny tins of tea.
The minis from
Yeah,
Teapot.
from Teapots. And I don't know, we might have to give away some Blue Abyss.
I think you might.
We'll have to figure out what our options
So
are.
good.
Sign it.
We will just
That's
have
the
to.
big, those are the teas I could sign.
Yeah, they could be the ones you sign.
They would be really good to be signed.
Very, very lucrative.
Very lucrative.
Special.
I mean, expending pen ink.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a lot of flack for espionage, Grand Arbiter.
Oh, come on. That was a good joke.
I
Stand
want
by
you
it.
all to know that I was maligned terribly, and I would never actually go through Madame Gail's drawers. I would not.
My drawers.
No.
Shocking.
Not your drawers, but maybe your bureau.
I'm just saying.
Also, I don't leave notes around, so there's nothing really to hunt unless
Yes.
you're very good at cracking a
Okay,
computer,
I'm sorry.
which
Was
I don't
it
know.
not clear that I was baking? It was a gag? It was a bit?
This one is not to be believed.
I am to be believed.
No, never.
That is
Do
a
not,
gag.
do not believe.
No.
Never believe a single word.
No. One of us always tells the truth, one of us always lies.
The question is which.
Honestly, it depends on the day.
And we don't have to tell you which is which on the given day.
No,
Terrible.
it's a
Terrible.
performative riddle.
We flip a coin every morning, and some person decides to be obnoxious.
Or if we're at Wild West Con, we have our wonderful butler team, and the real truth is that our head butler, who is the butler supreme and a wonderful young gentleman who would fit in very well with the dandies of Lord Akeldama's set and would be into espionage, but he only speaks truth. However, he does not cotton coat that truth either. He will tell you that your tea choices are bad.
He's
To
an
your
honest
face.
butler.
He is. Also,
There's a
what
very-
am I doing here?
I don't know, but you could.
Yeah, I think I'm good. now.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. I'm just too flamboyant.
You are. You
I'm
move a
rude.
lot. You move
You're
a-
gesticulating
much
so
more than that.
aggressively.
I know. I'm just. It's feathers and scarves and tea. I'm excited. So
Do we have another? Do we have
we
another
do.
question?
We do. All right. So TK says, "Have you read the Rivers of London
Oh,
series?"
by Ben Ivanovich.
Yes, Ivanovich. It's on my TBR. I've heard good things.
I've heard many good things too, but no, I haven't read it yet.
Not yet. He does. TK, I don't know if you are he, she, or they, but
We go with they
they.
on our lives usually.
Perfect. TK. They say Nightingale is also a burnt marshmallow.
Oh, another character that's a burnt marshmallow character.
Yes.
Yes. Come up with your favorites, everybody. Tell me your favorite burnt marshmallow character, because I think this is my new favorite way to describe it. I was calling them a crusty cinnamon roll, but I think burnt marshmallow is a little bit more pleasant.
Also, I just think it's better described because the part that you really go for is the trauma.
The burn.
The burn. Someone said it best on there. The burn is the best part of the marshmallow.
That's true.
It's not like a crusty cinnamon roll makes it just sound like an old cinnamon roll.
And you know that thing where you burn the marshmallow and then you like take the outside off and you leave. I also do that through the course of the book.
Yes.
Sort of lift away the burn and you'll learn all about the squishy sensor.
Oh, the gush. We're going to talk a lot about the squishiness quotient tomorrow because we are doing a deep dive on your books.
Yes, for those of you who are interested, Madame Askew and mostly Madame Askew runs a bit of a book group.
Yes, I do.
And we will be having an all book group like a proper book group will be talking to me about the Tinkered Starsong books.
Yes.
So I don't know.
Tomorrow.
Yes. So if you want to get all booky and cerebral tomorrow, what time?
4:30 p.m. Pacific.
Pacific.
So an hour and a half later than we are doing this.
Right.
And the Grand Arbiter, who's also very keen, will be
Oh,
making a special appearance.
I don't usually.
I don't usually read.
I'm not a good reader. I'm a good watcher. Here's the thing. My job, my duty, and my honor is to consume all forms of visual media so that Madam is unaligned with bad media that is unpleasant.
and can simply read.
And can simply read, and then I can just inform her of the ones worth watching. So that she can watch after the fact, and I can be like, yes, that's safe.
Yes.
No, that is not safe.
Well, and then you tell me the things I must watch, that I have no choice but to watch.
Yes.
And so it goes. All right, we do have another question. This one is from Suzanne. And Suzanne says, I know you based Kagee's singing on Woosung. His character is also similar. Did you use the K-pop singers' personalities and maybe stories as research too?
Is Woosung really that prickly? No, is the answer. No, I don't watch any. Like, I know a lot of fans and stans are into K-pop for the reality TV component, the personalities, and the influencer. But I actually make a point of not doing that. I'm not really interested in celebrities' lives, even when I'm writing about them. So no, I think I've seen maybe one interview with Woosung, and he seemed quite sweet. He didn't seem Kagee-like at all, so I'm delighted to know that he's prickly. But no, I didn't do that. I didn't. I just used them for the voices because I listen to the music. So yes, sometimes I will use real life friends or components of friends when I am forming my characters, accidentally and sometimes on purpose. But I do not use celebrities. I think that is a recipe for disaster. But also, most of the time, celebrities are presenting a persona, and I need my characters to be a little less artificial.
They need to represent some kind of truth. Like,
They do, yeah.
The whole. We're gonna get into this tomorrow. Don't you worry. But the whole point of the piece, from my perspective, is talking about the nature of that this is all about that veneer of knowledge about them. The idea that everyone sees all of these characters as one-dimensional, and that they have this deep dimensional component that is totally unseen, and that the consequences of that choice have long-term standing consequences, regardless of whether or not you sleep with a ladle or not.
Exactly.
Oh, but the ladle. I can't wait. No, listen, I know we're going to try really hard not to get distracted because we are going to have a good hour of conversation about the books tomorrow. But I do love that ladle so much.
The emotional support ladle.
So
It
good.
was one of my off the cuffs, and then I was like, oh, I have to lean into this ladle thing because I have a long-standing attachment to the humble spoon. And it comes from my Renaissance Fair days, and we have little slogans. There was like, the spoon is the real weapon, and I used to walk around with a big wooden spoon and threaten to wallop people with it. And it was my disciplining tool to get my. I ran a booth at the Renaissance Fair, so I had workers who I must keep. I was a very hard taskmistress, and must keep them on task. And so I would wave my spoon around with a spoon. Yeah. So the spoon is sort of yes, yeah. There are many. Get me drunk sometimes, and I will tell you some more stories about the spoon. But that's what I'll go into for now. But the ladle, I don't know. It's a satisfying word. It's a satisfying shape.
Oh, it balances really well.
And also, it's an instrument of to ladle something out, to serve
It's
things
delivery.
out, is a delivery sharing thing, and it's kind of Fex's personality and character.
'cause
Is
the-
that he
Yeah.
gives perhaps a little too much of himself on occasion.
He kind of only knows how to do that.
Exactly.
Really.
Yes.
So
It
I
has a scoop
It has a
component.
scoop component, and then also, if you're really lucky, it has a little
Hook. It's a hook at the back so you can hang it on
Wonderful.
stuff.
It's very exciting.
Grand Arbiter, I don't know why I did, so I'm going to hand you the magic for the moment, and you shall be in
We've
charge.
lost the comments, everybody. We've lost the comments. This is crisis.
It's a hat crisis. It's a tea crisis.
Charity says there will be spoon stories, which that's the bit I can read.
Yes.
I genuinely do have terrible eyesight, everybody, and it means that the phone being more than an arm's length away makes it impossible to read the comments unless we get them on our
Right.
secondary device here.
I can read this one though. Dear Charity says she will prepare the booze box to facilitate spoon stories.
Because really, don't we all have stories
you.
about spoons?
Fixed.
Yes, wonderful.
Thank you.
Is it?
I mean,
Is
it's
it
loaded.
fixed?
That's the most loaded
Oh,
comment.
right, good.
Good. Does what time is it?
It is halfway through.
Ah, excellent. So, if we haven't answered your question and you have asked it already, please ask it again,
please,
because it's
please.
probably now lost.
Yes.
And please try to put a question mark at the beginning.
Very important.
That way we can, as the comments come up, we can see and
Yes.
reply. But I always get a little nervous when the comments stop flowing,
Oh.
because perhaps we are not serving. But
Yes.
we can see ourselves on the device, so
Thank you.
the internet is still working.
But
Excellent.
It is one of those little idiosyncrasies of the Facebook Live that sometimes it likes to withhold commentary. And I know that we want to see the comments. You like to see them, we like to see them, we want to answer questions and not just be charming. Although,
But Facebook is going to decide for us occasionally.
Yes.
It's just unilaterally in all things. Oh, look.
the question mark
Is
is
like
like
a
a
ladle.
ladle. That's so good.
That's so
though.
profound.
That's so good. Thank you, Lady June Squirrel.
Oh, especially the upside down one.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's
I
like
love
a
it.
very curlicule ladle.
I love it.
Perfect for a
love
nice broth.
Now I kind of want a cartoon question mark that is a ladle.
Oh, Fex needs a question mark ladle.
Yes. Yes.
He's so
Questioning the state of the universe. I always think about Room with View and the question mark on the back of the painting in that one scene.
Oh my gosh. And the question mark when he does the potatoes and everything at
Yes.
the dinner table and he keeps showing it to Helena Bonham Carter.
And she's like,
TK is correct.
none of
This
your
is very
comments.
unhinged.
It's very unhinged. I did warn you, it would be chaotic.
Yeah. No.
We're doing an end of year live in a truly wild manner.
Absolutely. It's
wonderful. But on the bright side or not, depending how you feel about this, we'll be back to our regular, tame, solo Gail come January.
that's true.
And we will do some deep diving into writing plans for the year.
Sue
etc.
would like to know what is the next on your agenda?
My agenda.
Your
Yes,
agenda.
your
In
agenda.
life, or events, or...
I mean, it
Or
just says
tea.
next on the agenda, capital A agenda.
well, the capital
I mean,
next,
it's the capital A agenda, which of course you and I are both aware of the capital A agenda.
It's very important. It's the most important agenda.
The most important one. Ma'am, Askew's aware of the agenda with the capital A agenda.
I am. I love a capital A agenda. I also like a lowercase a agenda, but those are more,
Carefree.
They are. And also,
I mean,
sub
also,
rosa.
it's the agenda. It's the
Yeah.
capital A agenda.
Yes.
There's agendas, and there's capital A, the agenda. There's only the one.
There is. There is.
There's only the one.
Tomorrow I'm doing a book group. That is what I know is on my agenda.
That's correct.
The
and there's-
writing agenda.
Oh, my writing agenda. Okay. I was like, well, there's going to be some very fancy pizza this evening. That's on the
We're
agenda.
very excited.
Oh, we're very excited about
Yes,
pizza.
These two came to visit me explicitly so I could feed them all of my favorite foods.
It's been so
And it's
difficult.
Oh, it's just been a hardship.
terrible.
She's difficult and
Suffering.
terrible.
It's been a tragedy.
A real tyrant of a food
I'm
deliverer.
a terrible host.
Oh, yeah, no, that's why I'm wasting away.
Wasting away.
Right.
Yes, we
not-
all are. The writing agenda. Well, I'm currently working on the Jotzi dilemma, although not very well. There's been some chaotic life that's not just these two visiting me. There's actual other chaotic life going on, which is sort of derailed a little bit. But I'm halfway through that book. So that's next. And then I'm not quite sure what comes after that. I have ideas for more Tinkered Stars stuff, and then I have ideas for more Parasolverse stuff. But I can tell you the next thing is going to be San Andreas Shifters, and then the thing after that will probably not be San Andreas Shifters. Those are the two things I can say with confidence. So there it is.
Excellent.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes, and there's some other fun projects and things going on.
And I have no doubt that you will find the strength and creativity and the light in your heart.
This is the thing about having written 32 books or 34, whatever, however many books, is like I am confident that I can finish writing a book, and I hope you are confident that I will finish and deliver a book unto you, because it will happen.
You certainly have
Because it
delivered
has.
more books in a given year. I mean, I think it was miraculous, to say the least. Not miraculous, but delightfully pleasant, that we had only a month between each Tinkered Starsong book. We didn't have to wait incredibly long periods of time.
Thank you.
It was really pleasant. I know that Madame Askew would have gotten to the end of the book and then put a little bookmark in it and then kept it for however long it would take. Because if Madame Askew doesn't know when the next thing is going to come for a thing, she will hold on to that last morsel of book
no,
for as
Grand
long as
Arbiter.
possible.
You are wrong about books.
What?
However, no, the Grand Arbiter does not know my true shame.
Oh, what's your true shame?
So I read the ends of my books first.
I know that part.
No.
But you won't reread it to the end.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
You'll read the end and then you won't read it again.
No, from the beginning to the end, no. I will leave the end sometimes to wait.
You're scared of the suspense.
I don't like a cliffhanger. That's true. So we do have some more questions.
Oh, goody.
So TK, again, aren't you a delight, TK? I would have you to T. Who are your favourite burnt marshmallow faves?
Our
That
favorites.
are not
not me.
Yes, your own.
Oh, gosh. Where we'll have to go. Oh, God, that's such a hard question.
That's a very difficult question.
Oh, because we go immediately to other forms of cinema,
No,
don't we?
yeah.
Yes.
Can I call Katra? Is she a burnt marshmallow?
Oh, she is absolutely a burnt marshmallow. But also, She-Ra is also a burnt marshmallow. There are different flavors of burnt marshmallow.
Oh, no.
There are burnt marshmallows falling in love.
Well, what about, oh, God, I'm sorry, Xena.
Xena?
Xena she is the entire bag of burnt
So
marshmallows.
here's the thing about Xena. From a person who has watched recently a lot of Xena.
Oh,
I do a rewatch of Xena every so often. It's
that was very solid.
Lord Askeladd is very into Xena. It's a whole thing.
Okay.
Xena is almost, she's just an extra burnt marshmallow. There is a gooey center in there, but there's some layers. There's some layers of burnt.
She's gonna burn it and pull it off and eat it, and then burn it again, and
Yes.
then pull that off and eat it until you have this just tiny little bit of squish.
Just a taste of the squishy center. She's delightful. I love her.
Yes.
Oh, I love her.
Nikita. Look up Nikita. Nikita is
Oh,
another one.
yes.
Very grumpy burnt marshmallow.
Yes.
She is, and those boots.
I mean, I ought to be going to books, but I can't pull right off the top of my head. It's been a long time since I've read someone else's books, everybody. To my great shame. I've been too immersed, pumping three out, frankly, to read very much of other people's.
Well, and the thing is, I read sufficiently that I'm sort of...
They all get muddled.
Right, but I think this is a weird pull, but I'm going to say Eragon from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, interesting.
A burnt marshmallow, classic. He's
Classic.
like pining for his lady love, but you'll never know because he's like, I don't bathe. I'm out in the woods being taciturn and saving tiny hobbits.
Maybe the books are different, but the problem is that he's so nice to the Hobbit. He's not mean enough to the Hobbits.
Oh, I
If
don't
he was
know.
a little bit meaner to the Hobbits, I'd be like, yes. Boromir is more in that space.
He's pretty mean at points in
Yes,
the books. though.
Aragon is, isn't he? Strider. As he is.
Strider.
When he first meets them at the
I
Prancing
forget
Pony.
that in the movies and the books, Strider is a much larger portion.
Yes.
It's really important to remember that.
Because
Yeah.
a huge part of the first book was cut out, all
Yeah.
the stuff in the wandering through the forest bit, which is not necessarily a bad choice.
I mean,
There are costs and consequences of all things.
I know this is not really pertinent to the question, but I must admit, I was one of those people originally who was like, but Tom I love
Yes,
him.
they cut him out. Yeah.
But it was a good cut.
It was a good
It
choice.
It
out.
needed
The
to
right
be
decision,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very
I mean,
off.
the man focused on a lot of descriptions of the shapes of leaves. I feel like there was a lot that needed to be cut out.
Yes.
And
yeah.
a lot of singing. There
Oh,
was a lot
so
of
much
singing and doggerel.
Oh, yeah, no, Howl's Moving Castle, he is definitely...
Howl. No,
No, 'cause-
Hostile.
No, because...
The fire demon.
Oh, yeah, no.
Is the burnt
Oh,
marshmallow.
Yeah, no, it's...
And
it's
he's the best.
Calcifer.
Calcifer.
Calcifer is 100% the burnt marshmallow, quite literally.
Oh, he is the best.
Yes.
Just like one of literature's greatest characters.
Yes.
So good.
Because Howl...
Flaming in all ways and flaming and diversion bar. He's
Yes.
an embodiment of all
Yes.
great things. Yeah.
Because
Oh,
Howl
Calcifer.
isn't a burnt marshmallow.
No.
Howl's just a drama queen.
Yes.
Which is just a different kind of thing.
He's a damp marshmallow.
He's a soggy marshmallow.
He thinks he's burnt, but he's not.
So-
He's the graham
Yes.
cracker.
Oh,
Oh,
he's the melted chocolate on top.
No.
He's more.
he's trying
He's
so
trying
hard.
so hard.
All right, so
Mm.
here's one. What about Sam Vines from
Oh
Terry Pratchett?
God.
Mhm.
He's also kind of a damn marshmallow.
Uh-huh.
He's very Lip Biscuity, you know, and not like the music, like an actual.
Susan is a little bit of a burnt marshmallow
Oh,
herself,
Susan
though.
is, yeah.
Oh, Dark
Because
Death.
Oh,
Death is the burnt marshmallow, though. You're right.
Death. Oh, but he is my favorite. I love Death.
So one of my favorites from a
Honestly, from a writer
yeah.
perspective, the all caps death thing
Mhm.
is a stroke of unalloyed genius.
Yeah.
Like
So
Terry
good.
Pratchett was a genius for putting that on our pages.
Mhm.
Like that
So
death
good.
speaks in all caps. Like whose mind is that cool that they came up with that?
I
Like,
just
oh,
I love
so
that.
good.
such a blessing.
such a blessing.
Yeah.
Yes, but go on.
So I'm a big fan of Wolf Wolf is a good example of that from Kpop and the Age of Wonder Beast.
Oh, you were mentioning something I know
Yes.
nothing about.
It's a very, I mean, you know me and my animation addiction.
You were an animation person.
It's excellent, and Wolf is a grumpy, tortured soul who comes to love her family more than her stick that has a scorpion in the end.
Oh gosh, I've
Which-
forgotten about Wolf and that scorpion
Excellent.
stick.
Excellent. I like it. I am like canvassing while we were having this conversation. I am canvassing recent Asian dramas that I have watched and trying to think if any of them have a distinct burnt marshmallow character, and I haven't produced one yet. I mean, I'm thinking about. There's definitely one in the cast of Uncanny Counter, and of course there's the Devil Judge in the Devil Judge, who's very, 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 very practically psychopath end of the burnt marshmallow. But yeah.
But that can be fun.
That
sometimes.
is very
Can
fun.
be.
Very fun.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. All
Okay,
right,
let's
let's see what else we've got here. TK, that was a great question though.
Yes,
So
you
good.
gave us a challenge. I mean, to be fair, I asked you first.
It's
so.
also always challenging for us to when you're asked to
Favorites are
think.
hard.
Well, even
On
just
the
favorites,
spot
or
is
just trying to
difficult.
figure out who counts,
Yeah.
and what have I read recently, and what
Yes.
stayed in my brain, and what didn't,
Yes.
and what ended up on the floor.
This happens on panels all the time, where you're like, most of the time if it's a good panel situation, you know what the panel is about, and you can kind of prep a few. Like, I like to show up with a list of authors that I know I'll probably be pulling from and recommending, so that I can activate my brain ahead of time, because my brain is actually outsourced to Goodreads.
I think the big part for us we determined a while back that we can't be trusted to come up with examples off the top of our heads all the time,
Mhm.
and so Askew and I would have the slideshow has become our weapon, and and we use it very sparingly. It is there merely to show an image, contain almost no text.
Here's the other text.
Are you too good at trivia, or are you like me bad at trivia? I am bad at trivia.
The Grand Arbiter's good at trivia.
I am good at trivia.
I'm good at esoteric connections.
That's
So,
everything.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at trivia. Like, I just... People are always trying to get me to go to trivia night because I do know things because I have, degrees and stuff. But that does not confer a trivial ability.
Yes, I know a lot about pop culture stuff, and I know a shocking amount of weird internet culture stuff.
Shocking.
An absolute shocking. I'm a big fan of the because X and then Y conversations. the failing of Star Trek Voyager indirectly caused the election of Barack Obama.
Go.
No. It's a direct connection.
Oh,
It's a
is it?
real direct connection.
Is it? All right.
Yes.
Let's not go there.
It's not. But the point is that
I don't hold with conspiracy theories on this
no.
channel.
It's not a conspiracy theory.
Uh-huh.
It's a full legitimate thing.
It's a fact.
It's a fact.
And we leave it for all of you to Google
Google
it.
it. You can find it. It's great. It's a great little tidbit. You'll find it. You'll be like, that is wild. How did these things happen in the sequential order in this particular arrangement?
It's ridiculous. We love it though. So,
You can do the same thing with the Birth of Twilight. There's another chain for birth. The Twilight books came out of a random thing.
but these are conversations best served over a cocktail.
Yes.
Yes,
I
in a room party at a convention, for
Yes.
example, or at the bar at a convention,
Oh,
for
all
example.
of that.
Yes.
Or at a cog match game, because
Or-
that's what we do with trivia.
Yes.
Is we write ridiculous trivia questions.
And
with
she
no
writes
right
ones.
answers.
I mean, she writes them without right answers. I write right answers. I write very good, excellent right answers that are correct, and everyone just doesn't know.
Yeah, I'm terrible at trivia. That is the end result of this conversation. Even if I know a lot about a subject, I know too much, and then they'll ask a banal question on a trivia, and I'll be like, yes, but that's not quite the right answer.
Right. Which
So,
is why I don't even have.
Actually, it's silica-based ceramics. You know?
So
Yes.
you said that you have been reading a lot because you've been writing so much.
Yes.
Have you gotten back to reading lately?
Yes, but oddly, mostly manga, like mostly graphic novels.
What is the one that you would recommend to folks that you're like really into right now?
What
Because
did
that
I
was one of
just
the
finish?
questions.
I just finished I Cannot Reach You, which actually was not as good as Old Fashioned Cupcake. So I'm still sticking with Old Fashioned Cupcake as my primary manga recommendation right now.
And then there was the other one that you talked to me about earlier this
7
week.
days? 7 days?
No, the one about spies and flowers.
Oh, I don't remember the name of it.
Okay.
But and I haven't finished it yet, so I never recommend something that I haven't finished because endings are very important
They
to me.
matter.
So if it doesn't end right and it's part of a series, then I have to finish the series to decide whether I need to recommend it or not. So yes. So I am in the middle of reading one which is very good, which is a historical manga set during just after World War II with
Espionage.
espionage
And lovers.
and cross-dressing and like separated lovers. It's very good so far and very beautiful. But I don't know how it ends, so I can't recommend it, and I won't.
So we do have a few other questions.
Oh, let's.
All right.
How are we doing on time?
We have about 15, 17 minutes.
Okay, so we'll have to go relatively quickly through these questions.
All right. So Tracy wants to know if these books, and I assume we mean Tinkered Starsong,
Yes.
are over for these characters. Are there going to be more?
This is a completed trilogy. Right, we're back to this one. Here we go. This is a completed trilogy, by which I mean much like the Parasol Protectorate series is a completed 5-book series, much like the Finishing School series is a completed 4-book series. The main character's arc has happened. So I often get asked if I will write more Alexia books or more Sophronia books or more Prudence books, and the answer most of the time is no. I never rule anything out, so there will be no more Fex books so far as I'm concerned, unless something happens. Like the Muse is like, no, there turns out there's another one. But it's pretty rare for that to happen. But I don't rule out reusing the characters as side characters in other books, or having the whole group show up, for example, on stage or in the background or something. So I do seed drop characters. I write in sandboxes for a reason, so that I can have casual little mentions of other characters constantly showing up to reward those of you who carefully read all of my books with reappearances of favorite characters.
Well, and also
and for fun.
they're the most popular band in the universe.
They are.
So,
They are.
So of course you're going to see them in they'll be present even if you don't see them.
Exactly, because they will be playing in the background of every dome in the galaxy.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's so good. Suzanne says she loves the skin shift concept. What was the metamorphosis of this idea of skin shift?
Oh, so I was thinking about. All right, so I have something called the Exploratorium here in the Bay Area, but there's a lot of new media interactive art installation pieces where you go and either something you physically do causes the art to shift or create. the wind or the movement of nature around an object in the park, for example, will cause it to spin or cycle or something. So I was thinking about the idea of different senses being translated into other senses. So the idea that sound could become taste, or light could become sound, etc., etc. And then I was also thinking about synesthesia, and that there are people who perceive one sense as another sense, particularly sound as color. And I was like, all of this is very exciting to me to think about from an artistic perspective. And what if I could do that, but being a fiction author and fantastical by nature, what if I pushed it to a place where you can have this impact on other people and it has a kind of drug effect like LSD or something, and maybe an addictive component in other alien species and all that sort of thing. So that's kind of the way my brain was working coming up with it. And then I wanted it to belong to an alien race and not be a technology, be something that's sort of intrinsic to their social structure and biology, because that's also how my brain tends to work. I tend to think in terms of sociology and biological and like organic creation within cultures, because I'm a social scientist by training, I think, rather than a technologist. And so, yeah, so I wanted it to make it an intrinsic part of the aliens being alien, and how did it fit in with their life cycle and their social structure and all of this stuff. And thus, the Skin Sift was born.
I love that. And I love the social sciences part of these books. It's my favorite.
This is a linguist, by the way.
That's correct. Another social scientist.
Also, there's quite a bit of linguistics in this book.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
I love the communication.
Right. Because
Remember how we're going to do the thing tomorrow?
Yes.
We don't want to burn out.
But I also feel like, but this is like an insidious insight that perhaps the watchers will like to know, which is I like to think about if I'm doing a book that's essentially about art and song and sound as an art form, translated visually though it might be, obviously the language in that book is also going to be very powerful and significant, because it's all about verbal communication in its different forms. So the language structures, which I don't really go into info dumpy very much, but the language structures of the different alien races and stuff is very significant to how they communicate, how the friendships are being formed between the group, and that sort of stuff. So,
well, if I may pay you a compliment, from linguist from social scientist to social scientist, you do a wonderful job of showing, not telling, the way the language works, and I really like that.
Yes,
So
yes.
yes.
If you were a linguist familiar with things like registers in different, like non-English speaking cultures, you'll kind of get the little insidious. But it shouldn't impact your enjoyment if you don't know those.
No,
things.
not at all. I don't think. So Suzanne comes back with another good question. Any discussion of bringing your books to movies, TV, animation, or the like?
Well, the Parasol Protectorate series and attached universe is under option to an animation studio, in fact. And one of the reasons I tried to get these ones traditionally published first was because I thought they would make a perfect anime. They're kind of written with that in mind. In part, I was thinking about Robotech, which had a singer character.
Oh, Robotech.
What was her name? Meme or something like that?
Something like that.
Who sang kind of under a dome, and I have childhood memories of the colors of the animation and stuff from that show.
Beautiful.
And so I think this would make wonderful anime. And so I thought traditional publishing would be an easier pathway to a film option, because it usually is. So I tried to get this traditionally published first, but no one was interested. So, I know, silly. But yeah, yes, I would love it for these books in particular. But right now, just the one option is in play for me. But on a 12 to 15-year-old series, that's no bad thing to have an option still in play.
Absolutely.
It's pretty rare, everybody.
It's a wonderful series, so I'm delighted by that.
If it happens, it happens.
If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, either someone else will option it, or maybe one of my other series will be optioned. You never know what's going on.
They're all good Hollywood.
Hollywood is confusing. It's a confusing place.
Like, that's just the truth.
And it's more confusing now than ever before.
So true. So true.
So we have another question from Nicole. They ask, are any of you Whovian persuasion?
I'm the
I'm your doctor. Which doctor's your doctor?
Oh, it's it's gotta be 10.
Oh, 10.
I'm a big Tenet fan.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I kind of like 14 more, which is Tenet again.
Oh, the recent Tenet.
The recent one. I'm a big Tenet guy, and part of that is because, of course, he's the one that I starred with. But also, he has objectively the best companion of the entire series, no hands down.
Rose?
It's Donna.
Donna.
Donna Noble is the best
You do
companion.
like a redhead.
I do like a redhead, and if we're gonna cosplay a doctor and a companion, it's gonna be 10 and Donna, and that's it.
Boom.
But yes, no, it's that Catherine Tate is by far the best companion in my experience, and I just love her so much. And 10 is attached to that, and that is part of the deal.
I do love that.
Strong statement from the Grand Arbiter.
I hold no bars. I also think it's one of the more. He is the saddest, most grumpiest of the doctors.
No, 9. No,
Oh.
fight.
Oh no, he's,
9 is
no,
the grumpiest.
9 is the angriest.
9 is the bad boy. 9
9
is the burnt marshmallow.
He's the marshmallow. 10 is the soggy marshmallow.
10 is the soggy marshmallow. So I would have said up until about 2 weeks ago, Tom Baker was my doctor.
Wow.
As I started with Tom Baker, I love him, but I read an interview with him.
Oh no.
And I was Mr. Baker. I was very disappointed with him.
Oh no.
Because he was very dismissive of the other actors.
Oh.
And I just don't think there's a call for that, which
No,
I know
you
is...
don't have to be ungenerous.
I like how it's like, no, he was rude one time. Definitely gone forever.
I mean, you did not read this interview. It was not a one-time occasion.
Oh,
He
dear.
had some things to say that were very strong. But I still love his incarnation of the Doctor.
Which number is he?
I think
He's
it's
4. He's 4.
And he was my first Doctor, so there's that. I also have a very soft spot in my heart for Christopher Eccleston, who brought everything back, and I think got a bit of a raw deal.
Oh no,
You know.
Eccleston absolutely got a raw deal, and I am glad that he is. I'm so glad to read about how he's being. He's finally gone back to the fandom after years of not being part of it.
Mm-hmm.
He's done conventions again, and he's
Oh.
really enjoying himself.
Oh, good.
And he's actually on track to do some Dr. 9 audio dramas.
Oh.
Which, so he's come back, and it's sort of like he's resolved a lot of the challenges that he was facing, because at the time he was going through a lot of like personal hardship, like through his own body dysmorphia and other things going on with him. And so now that he is on the other side of, not the other side, but like process some of that, he's able to go back, and he's really able to enjoy himself more in these spaces.
Good.
Which I am very excited about for him. That is
Yes.
the thing that I'm excited about for him
Yes.
the most.
So 6 is my doctor.
Ooh.
I know, it's rare.
That's lapel with
It's question mark lapel, yeah.
Oh, so he
A ladle.
Peter Davidson.
He's
so
got his ladle.
that is the one before Ace, correct?
Yeah, I
Oh.
think so, yeah.
Because that's 7 is what is his name?
7, 8, that sort of gets confusing to me,
Okay.
the end.
So-
So 80s is, it's the 80s doctor, for anybody who cares. Late 70s, 80s doctor. Because that's when I would visit my grandpa, and my grandpa, when I would watch Doctor Who.
And he had the question mark cane.
He had the question mark on the lapels.
Okay.
And mostly I remember him and identify very strongly with him kind of creatively, because he's kind of a collectivist in his running of his... So he had multiple different companions, often at once, and he sort of had a group dynamic.
Yes. With the coat.
With the coat.
The
yes,
coat.
The coat.
Yes,
Yeah.
I needed to refresh my memory, because I was like, is it 6 or 7? I'm like, no, it's the
It's
coat.
6, yeah.
So apparently that coat, he loathed it.
I bet.
He hated that
I
coat.
bet. I would have hated that coat. I'm sure it was polyester and brutally uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, I think-
very hot on set.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's a Lord Asplund, who's my partner, who some of you have heard. He's got a podcast. For all intents and purposes, it's a podcast. His favorite is, of course, 7, because he likes the Ace 7 dynamic. Because Ace is great.
Yeah.
I'm just a...
I'm going to have to read.
You're a little slut for the companions, aren't
Okay,
you?
just so we're clear.
True.
It is... Doctor Who is at its best when it has a incredibly interesting doctor companion relationship. The reason that Clara is not my favorite is because the dynamic is a little bit off. It's a little sour. But then we get Bill, and it's great again because Bill is objectively amazing. Sorry, I'm a big Doctor Who nerd.
Clearly,
you cannot
asked the question. I will say, so 6 is my doctor, as in the first is the one you never forget, right? Your first love.
Special.
But I do really love Eccleston. And I was
Eccleston's
really
great.
sad that he got such a short run.
Yes.
Only one
I don't
season.
particularly care about the flack from fandom or whatever
Yeah,
goes
right.
on. I try not to pay attention to those things. But
That's
I was
gross.
very sad that he was only there for a while.
Yes.
I liked his version of the Doctor. I liked seeing the Doctor back on my screen.
Yes.
I liked the leather jacket.
I
And
mean,
that
it's a
boy,
good
I do like
Yes.
that.
And
so.
he was objectively very funny.
I
And
would
he was
invite
very
him to tea anytime.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
we like that.
we're glad Eccleston
And
is back.
and they did little insidious things that I was like, the BBC should have done this many doctors ago. Like, the fact that he was showing up in drawings and
Oh, yes,
pictures
that's
throughout
so
time.
clever.
You know, that it was very cute.
Well
and
done.
clever.
He did so apparently Russell T Davies did a lot of those Photoshop jobs, and they were like not very good.
Oh no, they're terrible.
Perfect though.
But
It's
you
perfectly
can
bad.
expect. But the Doctor Who does not have good special
Yes.
effects.
It's not
That's
I
a
mean,
rule.
And now
It's
it
not
does.
meant
It'll be very weird now that it
I
does.
don't like that at all. It
Because-
should be kind of rough and
because
ready.
because it's got big old Disney money now.
I don't like that.
No.
I don't. No,
It
the
needs
part
to be
of
a
the
little
charm is you can
janky.
see the cogs in the machine.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyway,
All right,
Sorry.
so I
Sorry.
know that time is running short, and we do have a couple more questions here. So we have, oh dear, well, we had a couple of questions. Tracy asked about, or maybe it wasn't Tracy, I apologize, favorite narrator for books.
for audiobooks, mine or someone else's?
I think yours.
Well, obviously I like Emma Newman because I keep using her. So clearly she's my favorite narrator. I have a lot of thoughts on this, I have to say. I mean, Kurt is wonderful too. But I tend to try to pick and go for narrators that really suit the POV, the main character, or the character that has the most page time if there are multiple characters. I also am very interested in, like, obviously, if you read my blog posts about picking model singers for the Tinkered Starsong, you know that I'm very into the voice, and I think the voice of a single point narration has to be very solid and good as well. So I need to like the narrator's sort of speaking voice that will be their natural voice that represents me as the omniscient narrator in the book. So yes, I put a ton of thought into this. So my very first narrator, Emily Gray, who did the Parasol Protectorate series, I've had a hand in quasi picking most of my narrators, or at least they pretend like I get to have an opinion. So I loved her. She has a sort of round, forward, full mouth way of speaking that's a little wet, that comes with a pretty posh British accent. And I just loved, she's a bit more of a contralto, right? She's a little warmer, less high voice. And I very much like that in female narrators. And Emma sort of has that for me as well. Emma's a little bit sweeter, a little bit more honey. But that suits kind of a lot of my standalone characters. She did some of the Delightfully Deadly books. She did How to Marry a Werewolf and stuff like that. So that's why I keep coming back to Emma, especially for my steampunk stuff. I think she very much suits it. And then Kurt has gravel to his voice, which is why I chose him for the werewolf stuff. And then so far as the sci-fi is concerned, I have to be very, very thoughtful and concentrated because the narrator has to be able to do and invent whole cloth alien accents and things. So I have to have a conversation with my narrator about what the skeletal structure of the aliens are like and how that would impact vocality and
There'll be sketches. There'll
Yeah.
be diagrams. There'll be a whole YouTube
all of
series.
which is to say it's very complicated. And to bring it back to sort of you as my fans and listeners and readers, I chose Starla for Heroine's Journey, which is my one and only nonfiction, because she actually has a natural speaking voice that's not dissimilar to my own, but she's a professional narrator. So actually chose her because her American accent is similar to mine. It's kind of flat and not like there's no twang to it or anything. We are friends and hang out enough that we know each other's sort of natural speaking voice, and I just had her kind of mimic that a little bit when she was doing my nonfiction. So I was even thoughtful about the nonfiction narrator. But yes, I perhaps put a little too much thought into this.
No, I don't think so. I think that as someone who's listened to your audiobooks and audio narration by some of these people, I think that the thoughtfulness is really important. It makes for a lovely experience.
It does mean that they're slower to produce than some other people's, and sometimes I have to wait for my narrator because I pick very fancy narrators, so they're in demand. Others are in the queue before me. But yeah,
they're good.
I know.
Well, we're about at time.
We are. All right.
So I think that what we should definitely do, as we're about to depart to the star of pizzas.
The star of pizzas.
The star.
I feel like we should definitely tell the audience what our favorite pizza topping is.
Oh, of course we should.
Yes.
Oh my God, very important. Oh my God, I'm going to hurt quite a few of you when I say mine, but I'll go last.
All right. Okay.
Madame Askew.
Favorite pizza topping.
So if I'm not just having fromage, which is always fine because I love cheese, I actually am a pineapple and ham person. I love the salty sweet combo so much.
I like it too.
So much, so good, so good.
I love it so much. It's my favorite.
Yeah. I like that. I like sweet savory. We've had there's been chutney on this trip. We've had experiences with this combination. Yes.
The chutney.
I don't often admit to it publicly, but I like a Hawaiian pizza.
Same.
I think that they're very pleasant.
It's a very underused, especially if you get the bread oven style pizza and you get a little char on the edge of that ham.
Oh yeah, so good.
Crispy char.
I don't know. You want that crispy char.
Yeah.
I'm a very basic girl in some ways though, but I tend to elevate.
Are you going to say pepperoni?
Oh well, I like pepperoni, but not by itself.
Oh, okay.
Like,
so what is
never.
the pizza topping then?
It's pepperoni, mushroom, black olive, which I think is very nice. It's 3 different textures. Ideally, so this is important. It needs to be pepperoni that is actually pepperoni and not like large pieces of salami, which is no good. It needs to be really cooked well, so it's nice and crispy on the pepperonis.
Yes.
Like if they are wet and droopy, I will be snooty. It will be unacceptable.
Sausage.
I have been known to fry pepperoni.
Oh,
And then stick it on the pizza.
that is absolutely.
It's really crispy.
You have to guarantee the crispiness of the pizza of that, and then I like mushrooms and olives because they have flavors that are bite together and they have a good texture. And I really need like a lot. I always have this concern that I'm gonna bite through a pizza and bite through my tongue because it's too thin and too not have enough texture, and I just bite straight through my tongue and then die on the floor.
Death by pizza.
Death by pizza.
Well, what a way to go.
What a way to go. Thank you so much for having us.
Wait, I haven't said mine.
Oh, that's right.
I thought you were agreeing.
No,
I
that
agree.
is not the.
But I haven't said my shocking.
Oh, what's your shocking thing?
Shocking thing. So if I make a distinction between deep dish and thin crust,
That is an important distinction.
And by deep dish, I mean California style deep dish. Sorry, Chicago, no offense, but which is a ton of topping and cheese on the top, or a ton of toppings in with the cheese, and then the tomato sort of stewed tomato on the top. So that is a vegetable heavy pizza, and I get that with spinach. I know you're gonna all hate me, but it's true.
I don't hate you. I'm just, my biggest concern is it just eating a stack of steamed spinach?
There is a lot of spinach in with the cheese and the tomato, and
It just sounds like you're eating a very weird pasta salad.
It's a pie. It's a pizza pie that acts like a pie. It has stuff in it like a pie.
And spinach.
Anyway.
And you love green things.
I love greens, okay? Don't hurt me. Now,
why would we hurt you?
On
we respect you.
We respect your nobility. The noble spinach will rise again.
It will. It will.
It will be a little wilty, but it will rise again.
Probably not for most people. No, my actual true like thin crust pizza, pizza is a weird one as well, and it is very thinly sliced white onions. So
Ooh,
they
excellent
cook,
choice.
but not too much. And again, you get a little texture.
You need textures.
Yeah.
You need textures. You need textures for all food.
Yes.
If you make me eat things that all have the same texture, I would be so sad.
Except for a wet marshmallow. Apparently.
Oh.
You're okay with that in your doctors. Anyway. Moving along.
That is mean. Don't give me an opportunity to respond.
No response.
It's fine. I like sad boys.
Sad
It's
boys.
it's a known problem that I see projects. The problem is that everyone knows. Do you not know about?
What we've deduced is a wet marshmallow is a project, everybody.
It is. It's a project because
Needs
I don't think
jaw.
you knew about this, but there's also you didn't know. I've got to let you know. There is the Grand Arbiter School for
For wet marshmallows.
emotionally damaged heterosexuals.
There's another name for which is wet marshmallow.
Yes.
And on that note, my last topics tend to be something pickled.
Something pickled. This was lovely.
Thank you, everybody. It's been a real pleasure and a joy. I promise my next live will be less chaotic. But if you want more of the same, only tailored to the Tinkered Starsong
Yes.
discussion,
Yes.
tune back in tomorrow at 4:30 on Madame Askew and the Temporal Entourage page.
It'll be on the Madame Askew Grand Arbiter page.
But I
just
popped
on
a
the
link.
page.
There's a link tree in in the header or the comments, depending.
Thank you.
Yes.
All
It's
right.
been delightful. Thank you all for tuning in.
And thank you for having us.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, oh my God.